Hi guys, I hope you're all well. Just going to check everything is okay. I think I've got everything ready. Obviously going to be doing something with sprues, and I've not done that for a while. So when I do things with sprues, it obviously means I need to make sure I've got well, lots of things already ready to start working with. But yeah, that seems okay. Right, we'll click a few buttons and then we'll crack on. So yeah, morning guys. Been a while since I've done. Obviously, I did one live stream I think last week, but I'm finally, I think, touch wood, out of the cold, which I've had for, well, it would have been 5 weeks, but the last 2-3 days I've not had a cough, a splutter, a sniff. So yeah, fingers crossed, my cold has now finally gone. Right, let's just click a few other little things. So yeah, so I'm gonna make some with sprues. I recently did well, the old, like the Lego sort of, well, obviously this one isn't really a Snazzwagon, is it? Because this is something else, but I love the word Snazzwagon. And yeah, when I did this video, someone put a comment saying about doing an A-Team van, and well, that is right up my street because obviously that's my era, the A-Team. So yeah, I'm gonna have a go at doing the A-Team van, but obviously rather than just make it out of, well, I don't know, cardboard or plastic, I'm gonna make it out of sprues. So yeah, something a bit different. All right, let's do. So yeah, so this obviously is a last minute live stream, mainly because obviously I was going to just obviously build this, and then I thought, no, let's see if anyone's actually on and wants to watch. Yeah, usual sort of thing. I'm not sure how long the live stream is going to last, because the only problem with sprues is because I make sprue goo, so it does take a while. There's only so much you can do to sprue builds, and you've got to leave them to either harden or in this case soften. So yeah, so that's why in this sort of little live stream, what I'm going to try and do whenever I make things, if you've seen in the other videos where I make things out of sprues, I've made like an Ork Stomper, a Battle Wagon, TIE Fighter, Burger, all kinds of things. I always start with a framework. Morning Andrew, hope you're, or Andre even, hope you're okay. Yes, I always start with a framework because then it's easier then to put the sprue panels over it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do with this. I've done some videoing already, because I'm going to use wheels like this, but I want to make it all out of sprues. Plus I only had 2 of these wheels, so let's just change the screen colours a bit bright. Where's my button? Yeah, so what I've done is I've made a mould. Let's click that one a bit better, a bit dark. Yes, I've made a mould of this. Well, I made 2 moulds. Basically, I had 2 wheels. So I took the 2 wheels, made a mould, cast it in the old silicone rubber, and then obviously my sprue goo I put inside. I only did this about an hour ago, so I really need to leave this at least sort of 6 hours. Then I can pop these out. Hopefully they'll come out something like the original, and I can make 2 more. So these are, so this is how this is printed out, is pretty much the size that I'm going to be building. Morning Chris, hope you're well. So yeah, so obviously these wheels are going to fit perfectly, and I'm using this guy. So this is where, again, anyone who's been on my channel for a long time, this is where my lonely orc would come out, because he was my guide to how big to make things. But obviously somehow I've lost the lonely orc, which is a bit of a shame, because I really would have liked to have well, repainted him now that I do this slap chop sort of painting thingy. So yeah, so using an orc to roughly sort of gauge the size. Obviously my plan is to obviously build this up. I want to have an orc at the front, either side, so they're sort of like leaning out the window. And on one of the sides I'm going to have like the old side panel sort of open, and again another orc or 2 leaning out the front. And if I can, I'm going to have a look for some grots, because I want to have one sort of strapped to the front, kind of like Mad Max style. So yes, this is what I'm going to make. Simple little A-Team van. Obviously once I've made the basic of it, I'm then going to sort of orcify it, put loads of panels that are riveted all over the place, and maybe obviously add some guns and bits and pieces. Yeah, Chris, I'm doing well. I say I haven't coughed, spluttered, sniffed in the last 3 days. So I think my cold that I had for about 4.5 weeks, I think the cold has finally gone, which is good, because that cold was just annoying me, because it didn't feel like it was a proper cold. I was just sniffing every now and then, or coughing, and yeah, just very annoying. So yeah, so these, some things I won't be able to sort of show you guys in the stream, because these were only done this morning, and it will take a good 6-7 hours before I can pop these out and, well, see how they come out. If you are new to the channel, there's loads of videos on this channel. I haven't done a lot recently, but I make things out of obviously sprues. So I get the sprues. Obviously, some of the bits I make I just sort of cut up with the sprues, and some of it I like this little jar, and it's got acetone in it. Put the sprues in it. 7-8 hours later, it turns into sprue goo, which you can then obviously put into molds and make flat panels with. So these are basically rolled out. So these are quite fresh. Well, fresh. I did these late last night, so that's why these are still soft. But obviously over time, all the acetone evaporates, and these go back to being a solid, hard plastic, which obviously I turn into sprue panels. And obviously these are going to be put over the frame that I'm going to make for the van. Hope that all makes sense. I say, if you are new and you've not seen any of my sprue videos, why not? There's loads on there. Go and have a look. And obviously, I say I've made a lot of things out of sprues, but my favourite thing, I just love this. This is my favourite thing that I've made out of sprues. Let's see, I'll zoom out a little bit. Gosh, not by a lot. It's still a bit dark, isn't it? Not too bright. Yeah, so this, my trusty quarter pounder, although probably a full pounder, this was made from sprues and nothing else. Just this is all sprue, apart from obviously the paint and the glue. But inside this, there's a framework as well, and then it was covered in sprues, and then obviously painted to look like a rather large and lovely hamburger. So yeah, right, enough waffling, because I do like to waffle. Let's get some music in my ear, because it's all a bit quiet at the moment. Any music? There we go. There's a little bit of music. I'm going to try and answer any questions, guys. Again, I say this every time I do a live stream. I need to get some new glasses. I mean, these ones are literally falling apart, and as you can see, well, I've lost one of the arms on it. But these are about 7 years old, so I need new glasses anyway. And I say the fact that one of the things has fallen off doesn't help. But then when I paint, I use these big chunky monkey cheapo ones. But these ones, I can only see anything sort of like a foot nearer, which means I can't see the screen to answer questions. So yeah, I need to get new glasses. I say it all the time, but they're just so expensive. But I will have to get some soon. But yeah, any questions you guys have got that you like are related to me, in the comments. So I'll just sort my paints out. In the comments, if you can put at Miniature Hobbyist, just because on my screen it highlights it in orange, and then I know it's aimed at me, and then obviously I will endeavour to answer whatever it is. Usual sort of thing. I am filming bits of this. I've filmed a few bits already. Well, last night I did anyway. But I will be filming bits throughout this, just to make the video sort of start to finish of obviously the A-Team van, which is obviously what I'm going to make. But obviously mine's going to be an Ork one. Next kit bash, new glasses. Well, I must admit, I was contemplating doing something, probably 3D printing. I mean, these glasses, the frames have broke so many times, and I've glued them back so many times. But unfortunately, this bit of the frame was actually right off the front, and I've tried to glue it back, and it says no. Right, so let's see, what bit am I going to film? I was going to do a frame. So yeah, so most of the builds that I do with sprues, I like to build a framework first, just because it makes it nice and strong and secure, and then obviously I can then just glue the panels over it. Crafty Dad, do I have a certain ratio of sprue to acetone? No, again, when the video comes out, or if you watch any of my old sprue videos, So this jar, obviously a nice clean jar, can't remember whatever it had in it. Basically, whenever I get these jars, I go to Tesco's and I buy the jar size that I like, but I buy the cheapest one. So it doesn't matter what the contents are, I just bring it home. I think it might have had gherkins or something in it. But I bring it home, obviously empty it out, give it a good old clean. So last night I filled this full of acetone, to about halfway, maybe just over, and then cut up loads of sprues, popped them in, and generally 7-8 hours later it turns into sprue goo. So there's no real ratio. Basically I fill a glass half up and then I fill the whole thing up with sprues, but obviously there's lots of gaps in between. That's why when the sprues do sort of dissolve, obviously there's a big old gap. But yeah, plus the sprue that I used last night to make these panels had actually been in here about 2 months, 2-3 months I think, and it was still good. Because I know one of the questions I get one of the questions I get asked often is how long can you leave the sprue goo in here? And I say the one that I used last night had been in here about 3 months. It was thicker than normal, but that's because obviously the acetone had evaporated and was only just above it. But again, when the video comes out, I'm going to explain that the sprue goo I was using to make these panels was, say, 3 months old, but still very usable. But generally, you kind of almost want to use it within like a week or two, just 'cause it's a lot thinner, a lot runnier, especially for obviously putting into moulds. You want it as soft as it can be. But anyway, let's have a little look at doing something. Right, pen, this, that. Andre, no cheating, make new glasses out of sprues. Well, definitely the frame, because the problem is because it doesn't have the other arm on it, it does slip off. But I can read the comments easier with these glasses than the other ones. As I say, it's such a pain because I use the other glasses for painting and these ones for being able to see obviously that bit further. Stephen, so chuffed you were building the idea. Oh, so it was you, Stephen. Oh, cool. Yeah, so it was you that suggested it. Yeah, so I am an 80s kid. Well, 70s, 80s. So yeah, so things like the A-Team I just love, and the thought of making one of these for orcs, yeah. So Stephen, yeah, thank you for suggesting this build. So yeah, it's all down to you, buddy. Right. So I am going to be filming throughout. So I'm going to start with a frame, and what I'm going to do is I've already like pre-drawn what I'm going to kind of do. Oh, you can't see it at all on the screen, can you? It's a problem. These webcams, they started off really well, but for some reason they do seem to be losing it a little bit. Right. Yeah. So obviously this is sort of to scale, pretty much. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a framework, pretty much like a box framework, so nice and simple. So this is obviously going to be the bottom, so that's why it's kind of like the right sort of size. But I'm going to draw it again on this, just because obviously I want to get all my sort of sprues, glue them together, glue them down on, obviously the greaseproof paper is the best thing because then they just sort of peel off, because greaseproof paper is lovely because things don't stick to it. Well, he says it shouldn't stick to it. So let's do, where do you get speed paints from? I must admit, this is where I say quite a bit, I am very fortunate and very lucky to have this channel. I started this channel 2 years ago during the second lockdown in the UK, just because I got really bored and I wanted something to do. So I started this channel. Obviously, as it's grown and grown and grown, I get companies that message me and want to send me stuff, which is awesome. And so all these paints that I've got, with the exception of maybe, I don't know, maybe a dozen paints that I brought sort of 2 years ago when I first started the channel, all the other paints that you'll see in the background have been sent to me. And again, this is where I'm really grateful and thankful. So yeah, Army Painter, they sent me their range of speed paints. Yeah, so they say every paint I've got has been sent to me, which is just awesome. But it's like randomly, again, if I say your name's wrong, I apologise. One, I'm not very good at saying certain names anyway, and two, it's like I can just about read the screen. to see what's people are writing. Using inspired by my work to create island terrain. Oh, awesome. Encountered a slight problem with warping edges. Warping what from sprues? If you're talking about sprues, then yeah, again that's why I like to make a framework. So sprue panels, I say these are pretty rough because it's going to go on an Ork vehicle. I didn't really sort of pay much care or attention. I just rolled them out real quick and left them. I could put these through the mangler that I've got, but that does flatten and smooth things out. I may or may not say this is an Ork vehicle. Doesn't matter if it looks a bit bashed. The one problem you will have with if it is talking about sprues is after a while it does start curling up, because obviously these, so this is still soft, which is why it's very very bendy and flexible. The acetone, say it evaporates after about a day, then these almost go back to being sort of solid plastic. But there's still obviously some sort of acetone in there, because as they still evaporates, the edges will curl. The only way you can really stop that is obviously putting a book on top of it, but you have to leave the book there for like a week or more. Or in my case, that's why I like making frames. Make a framework, glue this to the framework, it can't curl because it's obviously stuck to something. If you're not talking about sprues, then I haven't got a clue and I won't be able to help you. But if it is sprues, then yeah, a flat panel left on its own will curl eventually. Right, so I'm going to film a bit, so I won't look at comments just for a second, just because obviously I want to start making something. I know I waffle, but let's try and waffle and make something at the same time. Right, so let's see. Right, I'm going to turn that one, because I've got it on my face, but I really need it on the desk. Right, so we'll film that, and I'm going to show that I've kind of drawn a rough sort of thing. So there's only a problem with greaseproof paper. My pen isn't actually drawing on it, which... Right, let's cancel the filming, and I don't think I've got any kind of felt tips. It's the problem with having kids. Whenever I get nice pens in, kids come over, they take them, and then they hide them. Right, no, what we'll do is I'm just gonna glue that over. Right, I'm going to film that a little bit again, because obviously that didn't quite work out how I wanted it to. Alright, so let's start again. I'm going to show the van. I'm going to show that I've drawn a rough bottom of it to make these. I'm going to show that I'm going to use the greaseproof paper just because it makes it easier. So what we'll do actually, we'll glue the paper down a little bit. And then we can show you we are going to start cutting. So I'm only be filming some bits, but obviously I do need to film just so I can make a nice little video of it. So I will look at the comments in a minute, I promise. Right, there we go, we can stop filming. And let's have a little look. I missed anything. Morning, Andrew. Hope you are well. Will I make the inside of the cabin or just the outer body? It's pretty much going to be the outer. Obviously, where I'm going to have two orcs inside, sort of like leaning out, hopefully. So I might do it so the doors. I might do it so the doors come off. I'm not sure. Or the doors are going to be separate, so they'll be put on sort of afterwards. But I'm going to make like the sliding door at the back. Not that it's going to be out of slide, but it's going to be like slid open, just because I want to have an orc in the back, sort of leaning out as well. Yeah. Right, so I'm just going to trim these up a little bit, just so it all goes together nicer. So I have also, so I've filmed a few bits of me, well, cutting these up and cutting the all-important nibbly nobbly bits off. Obviously, I haven't cut all the bits off, as you can see. These are still a little bit rough. So with this, I mean, I could, if I wanted to, I could be really good and go out and sand these down, so these are all perfectly flush. But there's no real need. And so, because this is all going to be encased in sprue panels, you're not going to see any of this. So it doesn't need to be 100% neat. Plus, again, that's why making things for orcs is so much more fun. In respect of things don't have to be too neat. Don't have to be neat, don't have to be precise. If anything, sometimes you're better off making them so they are a little bit slap happy, just because that's kind of more orc looking. Alright, so that's them ones. So what I have got, all these little nibbly nobbly bits I cut off, I put in a little, well, put in anything, and then what I will do is these will get put into the sprue jar to turn into more sprue goo. But say this is goo that I made last night. Oh, glasses are going to keep falling off. Yeah, so my plan is once the wheels in this have set and hardened, so I would leave this at least 6 hours, 7 hours, and then pop these out, and then I can make 2 more. Hopefully they'll come out really well. If not, then well, then they'll just go in the bin or somewhere, and then obviously I'll just make more. Right. If you haven't already, guys, if you can hit the thumbs up, that'd be awesome. To be honest, I haven't got a clue how many people are watching, because I've not. So I literally I was about to start building, and I thought, oh, let's do a live stream. So I just pushed a few buttons, and obviously here we are. And I just pushed the wrong button there. Right, I'm not printing anything off. Let's click on this. Cool. Stuck with the glasses. Well, they're kind of missing an arm, mate. They're one armless. But I've had these about 7 years, and I've glued them back together so many times. But say the arm has now completely fallen off, and yeah, I need new glasses. Right, let's get some more little bits. Yeah, this might as well go all the way across actually, just for more strength. So again, a lot of this, as you can see, I'm eyeballing it. The only thing I actually printed out is obviously the van. Everything else, yeah, I'm just sort of eyeballing it and see how it goes. So yeah, doing this on the old greaseproof paper just makes it so much easier. I can glue it all together, and then it will just peel off the paper. too big. Rightio. Right, so what are you guys all up to then, other than obviously, well, watching me cut things with sprues? All right, Steve. Yeah, Steve, I messaged back on your comment on the video when you did that. Yeah, Discord, I really don't use it much, mate. I know I should, but I just don't. You best, if you want to contact me, email miniaturehobbyist@gmail, whatever. Yeah, I'm going to WhatsApp you. Yeah. Things like, if it's during the day, I'm about during the day all the time, mate. I'm always at home. I'm always making stuff. The only time that would be difficult is like school pickup times. But sort of middle of the day, yeah. But yeah, no, I'll WhatsApp you later on, buddy. Or say if you want to message me at miniaturehobbyist@gmail, yeah, say the Discord, I rarely go on there. Right, seems to be a good enough size, so we'll make 4 of them. So say, even though this is sort of eyeballed and, as you can kind of see, made up as I go along, I do want to try and make it sort of to that sort of scale. But again, this is where making things for orcs is so much easier than anything else, just because it doesn't need to be neat. Yeah, talk about the things that obviously I've made with sprues. I've made an orc stomper, which Steve has brought, and that's why he's messaged me to say he's going to come and pick it up. I mean, he bought this, I don't know, when did you buy this, Steve? Must have been almost a year ago, wasn't it? Yeah. So it's finally going to go to its forever home. So again, if you are new to the sprue videos, as much as making things with sprues is really good, because obviously it's recycling stuff and all the rest of it, it's kind of a very time consuming thing making things with sprues, especially when you're making sprue goo. So the fact that it takes like 7-8 hours for the sprues to dissolve into sprue goo, but then when you use the sprue goo, it takes at least another 7-8 hours for it to turn back into plastic. So there's a lot of gaps in between when you're building with it. Which is generally, if I am building with it, I have lots of other projects on the go, just because, I say, otherwise you're hanging around waiting. Right, so this is the wheel, the original wheel. I had 2 of these, which is why I made a mould, and obviously I'm making 4. But I can still use that as a guide to, well, how much room I need to leave here, really. Oh, so I need 6 of these. Yeah. But yeah, so it just seemed ages because I actually made it. Well, yeah, a year and a bit ago, I guess. Gosh. Right, let's start gluing these little bits on. Yeah, so I must admit the A-Team was something I used to absolutely love as a kid. Plus it was one of those programs, because it was on quite late, I think when it was on, I got to start a little bit later than like normal. Right, they might need to change size because I think this is bigger than I thought. Yeah, so again guys, if anyone's on Patreon, once a month I'm going to do like a giveaway on Patreon, and they can basically win one of the things that I've built. This will be one of the things. What I think I'm probably going to do is, rather than do it so you win a particular item, I'm going to list all the items that I've built that I am happy to give away, and then whoever wins that month gets to choose what they want to win. Yeah, just to say a thank you to the patrons for obviously supporting me, because a lot of these things that I build, if I build something and I know I'm not going to use it, then it's going to go on Patreon. Obviously like kill teams and stuff that I am using, they won't go on Patreon. But I guess anything that I make that's possibly could be used for like Warhammer 40k, then that probably would. So yeah, so if you wanted this A-Team van, obviously once it's built, then yeah, become a patron. Right, so sure these. Oh no, I need to do one more, don't I? Gap for the wheel. So I need more of these little suckers. Big. That's too small. This is where sometimes measuring things probably would be helpful, but can't bothered. Sometimes it's easier just to keep cutting. So anything that doesn't fit goes in the little bits box, and that'll be made into sprue glue at a later date. Right. There we go. Cool. It's like watching paint dry sometimes, isn't it? Although again, if you have watched any of my previous live streams when I'm making things with sprues, you will see the very beginning, it's almost like nothing happens, or it takes a long time to sort of see what's actually going on. And like a lot of things, obviously building the framework, get the framework right, everything else sort of fits in really quick and really easy afterwards. But yeah, you really do need to get the framework right in this one. Right, so yeah, these can be a bit smaller. And again, this is purely the framework. You won't see any of this once it's all built. It'll have all the sprue panels over the edge. So guys, what you guys all up to? Say, other than, I don't know, did you answer? I don't know. I did ask, but I can't remember. Yeah, let me know in the comments, guys, what you guys are up to. This one's too big, this one's too small. Yeah, this one's just right. Yeah, so obviously normally if I'm doing like proper DIY, then it's definitely a case of measure twice, cut once. If I'm making something for orcs, it's like, nah, let's just get stuck in, start cutting, and see what happens. The Patreon, there should be a link in the description. If you go onto any of my videos, at the very end of the Patreon, at the very end of the video, there's a link to Patreon. But yeah, so there's details on there once a month, because I am now starting to build quite a few bits that I'm not going to use. This is always the thing that happened before, when a lot of stuff I built I never used, because obviously I never used to play any kind of Warhammer games, and I just ended up with too much stuff, and in the end I actually started throwing stuff away just because I started running out of room. So I'm only in a flat. It's not the biggest of flats, but it's quite a size. But yeah, after a while I do run out of room. So yeah, it kind of makes sense, rather than me throw stuff away, yeah, give it away. Because you never know, one of you guys might want to use it for, I don't know, something. Plus you have got a good chance of winning it, because I haven't got many patrons, and not many patrons seem to comment on the things that I put on there. So yeah, you've got a very good chance of well, yeah, winning something. Chris, currently trying to choose a new camera for your new puppet film. Oh, cool. What sort of puppets? Is it like what, string puppets or articulated puppets? Puppet film. Cool. Right, so this is now obviously the floor work or framework, or I don't know, Steve, what's this called on the car, this bit? Just a frame, I guess, I don't know. I know nothing about cars. I know how to drive a car, that's about it. Right, so obviously now we just need to start building it upwards. So I'm probably going to do like go up and do a layer for that sort of size. Well, I say one side I want to keep open, just because I want to have the door open, and obviously an orc or two maybe leaning sort of out. I was contemplating putting a big turret at the top, but the thing is that I don't want to make it look undistinguishable as the A-Team van. So as much as I want to sort of stick Dakar and bits and pieces all over it, I don't want to go too mad, because otherwise it'll look just like an orc vehicle as opposed to the A-Team. So that's why I want to keep it fairly simple, and rather than stick guns on it, just have the orcs sort of leaning out with guns. Probably going to put some spiky bits on the front, and obviously there's going to be quite a few like patchwork panels all over the sides. But yeah, generally I don't want to make it look too different from the A-Team van, just because I want it to look like the A-Team van. Chassis, that's the word I couldn't think of. Cheers, Steve. Yeah, there we go. Chassis is made. Yeah, sometimes I have some brain farts that are just nuts. But yeah, cheers, Steve. See, I knew you'd know. Chris, it's going to be a mixture of silicone hand puppets and rod puppets. Awesome. Is that something you do as a sort of a job then, Chris? Or is that just like a fun hobby to obviously make the puppets? But yeah, that sounds pretty epic though, if you're going to be making your own puppets as well. Cool. Right. We'll move the camera, because I'm going to film again in a minute, but from obviously a different angle. Right, move that. So say the wheels should fit nicely, obviously, in their little gaps. Bosh bosh. Right, just got to visualize it in my head how I want it to look. Because that's like any project that I kind of make, I break it down into small sections to make it easier for me to obviously work on, and to obviously do it the most sort of logical kind of way. So obviously I'm going to have the framework coming up, going along. Yeah, so I reckon if I do bits that go up that high, go all the way along, and then I can do the top bit as a separate sort of thing. So let's cut one of these rods to the size I need, and then I can, let's just put that over there because I've got loads of nibbly nobbly bits. There's a word I haven't said for ages. Yeah, again, I know obviously in a lot of my videos I say basically and obviously a lot. There is one video obviously using sprues to make something, and I use the word nibbly nobbly bits quite a lot, and then that kind of became not quite a catchphrase, but a word sort of known for, well, for some of my videos. Yeah, good old nibbly nobbly. Yeah, Steve, I thought about putting like an opening top at the top. That's why I'm going to have the Ork leaning out the side. Yeah, cause I really want it to look, well, like the A-Team. Right, so how high is this going to go? Probably not too high, really. My little Ork man. Well, it's going to be a little bit sort of the size. The vehicle's going to be bigger than it would be in comparison to a man, just because I had printed this off at several sizes, but some of the smaller sizes just looked too small, and I kind of wanted it to look a little large. Yeah. Oh, it's the only problem about using so much glue. Everything gets stuck. Right. Oh no, it's not. Yeah, this is gonna need to be less, 'cause it's got the thickness of this already in it. Oh, I'm just talking to myself there, guys. Right, is that too little now? Right, a little bit bigger. You still got your nibbly nobbly mug. Yeah, you haven't dropped it or smashed it then. Right. How does that look? Yeah. Right, so that'll do. So we'll cut loads of these up, and then I'll film me gluing all of these in. Just again, this is obviously going to be the framework for the van. Let's get the camera up a bit. I've got something making a beeping noise, and I'm not sure what it is. It's like something rather out of charge, or overcharged, or I can't think what's making the noise. It's one of those annoying noises. Every sort of like 4 or 5 seconds there's like a little beep, but it's a very low toned beep. Sticky House, been subscribed for ages, but I don't think I've watched any of your videos before. Cool, awesome. Yeah, watch them. Say if you want to make things out of sprues, there's loads. Again, I've not made anything recently, although I did start that. Is it Thunderbird? No, doesn't sound right. there's some Warhammer spaceship thingy I've started building, but a lot of projects, or not a lot, but several projects I sort of start, sometimes I get a bit like I lose interest. And what I always find is that if you, obviously because I love doing this hobby, I love building things, if you start making something and then you're not enjoying it, you need to kind of stop, because if you carry on, it won't come out good. You'll hate the process of building it, and you just won't enjoy any of it. So that's why it doesn't happen often, but there's a few projects I've started, but they're not finished. But then there's some that I've started, stopped, 6 months later I've carried on and finished. So yes, so there's another build I'm doing with Sprues that I've stopped for the moment, but I may pick it up, another one. Anyway, you're looking for a job, it's a hobby. Oh, okay. Like using the technique of Sprues to make frames. Yes, okay, that's the one thing that say Sprues are awesome for, is framework. Just because obviously it's plastic you've got. Again, obviously, whenever I cut these up, all the outer edges I obviously keep nice as the frames, and all the sort of the gubbards, the innards that are just obviously, well, weird shapes, these are the bits that I cut up, put them in a little sprue box, and then turn into acetone, turn into sprue goo. So yeah, all the outer edge is great for framework, inner bits is sprue goo. The 3D printer would be nice, yeah. Again, that's why I've been so fortunate. I do know I am very lucky that companies have sent me 3D printers, because, well, like a lot of things are expensive, and obviously the more bits you buy, the more expensive they get. So yeah, I am very lucky that I've got got them for free, 3D printers, and yeah, so all the paints that I use are frees, which is cool. Right, so I've got my bits. Just think what else I might film. Right, so these are going to go here, 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 here. And then yeah, we'll do long ones all the way along. So I'm going to get these cut. Again, just so when I start filming, I've got them, and I can include them in the film. Again, this is where it helps in this hobby, because I'm filming obviously everything I do. It does slow the whole process down of obviously making something, because in my head I have to work out what it is I'm going to film, get the camera set up, get everything ready, so I can start filming and then get whatever it is bit done that I'm going to do. The thing is, I've been doing it quite a long time now, so I kind of don't mind the fact that I can't just sort of jump in, build something, and it's done. Every sort of process of what I'm doing, I need to think about how I'm going to film it, what I'm going to say when I come to do the end video, just so it obviously all makes sense and it flows. Because like some bits I've actually filmed, I've filmed out of sequence for this, because like the making the sprue goo and the panels, that's actually going to come probably after me building the framework. So the framework's probably going to be done first, then I'm going to sort of show the video of me doing the panels. But obviously I've done the panels first just because it takes a while for it to dry, well, and turn into goo, then dry. So yeah, sometimes things do get filmed out of sequence, but just to make it easier for me. Alright, so yeah, we're going to go lower down. Not too bad. I'm going to change glasses, because the problem is whenever I look down, them ones just fall off. But say these ones, oh, I can kind of see the comments. Let's just give these a bit of a clean. Rightio. Eyes down, full house, all that kind of thing. That's another thing I kind of don't like when I'm doing the sprues. my desk seems to get cluttered with all kinds of stuff, and I'm one of these people. I like to work in a clean environment, even though sometimes what I'm making does get messy or my fingers get messy. I like my desk to be nice and neat, tidy, everything in its place. But whenever I do things with sprues, things just end up everywhere. It's like, oh, don't like it. Right, so I'm going to glue all these bits on and then glue this over the top. That makes sense. Ah, yeah, so the other side, I don't want to do that because the other side's going to have that door. Right, that's going to go like that. Yeah. But the good thing is if I do make a mistake, as in I cover up something that I don't want to cover up, it's easy just to cut and, well, change later. Duffman, I'm finally streaming at a good time for your time zone. Awesome. Well, say for me, streaming in the morning is so much easier. Just because mornings or midday is when I'm normally building something. I'm still generally doing something in the evening as well, but the evenings I like to chill out like most people, and generally watch more sort of TV, as in films or something. Whereas, yeah, mornings are easier for me to be doing stuff. Right, how's the focus? So I'm just going to be filming this little bit. Let's get the light over. Cool. And let me just crack on and film. That was handy. Cut up just the right amount. Right, but I'm not going to glue that bit on straight away because this is where if I glue too many bits together, it all just starts falling down like a pack of cards. So I'm going to wait till this stuff has glued properly, and then we'll do the sort of cross bits. Cool. Yeah, so I'm probably going to leave this on the greaseproof paper until it's all dried, and then pull it off. Otherwise, if I start pulling it off beforehand, it'll, again, because it hasn't got its shape, it'll just all crumple. Oh, showing you my messy room. Right, there we go. We'll leave it like that for the moment. Oh, pardon me. So yeah, so while I am waiting for that to dry, what I'll do is I will make sure I've got all the bits cut up to go round. So anyone just joined, I'm obviously making the A-Team van. This is kind of like the rough size it's going to be. Obviously my van is probably going to be a lot wider than it would be normally, but that's because I want to have a couple of orks inside the front. And there's going to be one ork in the back with a slidey door open with their machine guns. Obviously making it all out of sprues, so every part of this build is going to be sprue apart from the figures. So I'm currently building the framework for it, and then once the framework is done, I've got my sprue panels which will be cut up to size, and they'll be sort of encasing the whole thing. I've also got the wheel. I found 2 of these in my little bits box, so what I did is I made a mould of these over here, and then put sprue goo inside the mould. But this was only done about an hour, well, about an hour and a half, maybe 2 ago. It's going to take at least 6-7 hours. So this is where obviously building things with sprues, to say, it can be quite a long, laborious job because there's a lot of downtime. But say I've got about 3 or 4 projects on the go. So while this is all setting, that's when I go off and do something else. So it's like even with this, once I've built the framework, I won't probably do any more today. I might make some more panels, like sprue panels. But the panels that I've currently got, they were done late last night, so they're still relatively soft. And I'd rather wait till they were a bit firmer, a bit harder, and then attach them. So that's why I'm going to build the framework this morning, and then I'm going to go off later on and do some painting or something else. As I now love painting miniatures, woohoo! I'll be painting some miniatures later. So yeah. Right, so they're going to be the end ones, and so this is where I don't like my desk being too messy, because it makes it difficult to move things around. So let's put that over there. Let's move that. That can go far away. Oh, nudge the camera. We'll have that up over there just because it's good to see what I'm building. That can go there. So this is the dude that I'm kind of using as a reference guide, so I know how big to sort of make bits and pieces. Although to be honest, this was kind of done because of the size of the wheel that I've got. So I printed it out so the wheel is kind of like the same size. Yeah, check this out. I really want this to look like the A-Team van, but just with a bunch of orcs in it. Right, so let's move you. So they're the side ones. Oh. This one's going to go in between. Do it from the base. So I'll go there. Yeah, so everything I've built with sprues, everything's got a base, a framework, just because it makes it so much stronger, as well as obviously lighter. Because obviously, if it's got a framework, there's not too much sort of sprue on it. It's obviously just the outer layer that kind of has the sprue panels. Right, so that's kind of like the lower. So this is basically the framework that's just going to be like the bottom half, the bit that's in black. And then once that's all glued together, then I can start doing like the front bit and obviously the rest. So say I think this side is going to be like as it is. The other side's going to have the slidey door halfway open. Just because I want to get some orcs and have them kind of like hanging out with their guns. So again, as opposed to putting loads of guns and Dakar on the actual vehicle, I want the vehicle to look pretty much as it is. I'm just going to have loads of orcs sort of hanging out with their machine guns. I need to try and find it. I don't know if I have it, but I want to get a grot and have him like strapped to the front, kind of like Mad Max style. But I don't think I've got any. So what I might actually cheat and 3D print a grot if I can find one. So I kind of want one that looks like he's, well, strung up. Yeah, so he can be on the front. But yeah, I've forgotten the guy's name who suggested this, but there's a guy. Is he still here? Yeah, the guy suggested this in one of my previous videos about making the A-Team van, and it's like, yeah, I love the A-Team. So that's the other thing I get whenever I am building things. Again, comments, guys, in my videos. Always leave comments, just because sometimes I'm not sure what I want to make. So when you guys suggest something, all of a sudden it's like light bulb moment. It's like, oh yeah, I like the idea of that. I'll make that. So yeah, always leave comments about what you want to see me make, because sometimes I will make them. Oh, Aisha, hello there. I didn't know you'd come on. I hadn't seen you. As long as it's just orcs hanging out. Well, it might be orc bits hanging out. So D-Fry, morning from Yorkshire. Morning, buddy. Hope you're well. Got you on while I work from home. Is there much work going on? Well, an orc grot with a squig bomb. Saying that, yeah, have I got? I think I have got a squig, an orc, a grot. Don't know what I'm saying. I need to have a look. But if not, I'm gonna cheat and 3D print one if I haven't got one. Right, I think these bits are not filming right. These bits are pretty much starting to set, so we can stick these on. I say, because these are going to go here, and then obviously the wheels. Well, this will be raised up. Will obviously be underneath. Yeah. Feels like forever since I've built a framework. Sticking my fingers to it, I hate that. Yeah, so I know super glue was invented to obviously, well, glue skin together, but they need to now reinvent super glue so it doesn't stick skin together. So I know it's like, is it the moisture in our skin which is what makes it stick? The Mad Max speaker wagon would be cool. Yes, yeah, because there are some orcs that have got like guitars and bits and pieces. So yeah, that would be a good one to make. I'm good, Aisha. Yes, I think finally I don't have a cold anymore. I haven't sniffed, sneezed, coughed in about 3-4 days. So I had the cold for about 4.5 weeks. I think I had it for in the end. But I think I am finally cold free, so I'm good. How are you, Aisha? I hope you are well. Stop sticking to my fingers. Yeah, so rather than watching paint dry, I'm watching glue dry. Very stimulating, exciting stuff. Comerton, hello to you. I hope you're well. Oh man, what's it? Yeah, glue loves skin far too much. What's that? See, my magic hands did the trick. It's always good to have magic hands. Alright, this is getting crazy now. I'm just going to leave it alone because I think there's glue on there. Right, yeah, so the other side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the framework the same on both sides. Once the framework's done, then I'm going to cut the door bit out. Yeah, I mean that'll be easier than me trying to leave a gap for where the door's going to go, because I'm not 100% sure where it's going to go. But there obviously is going to be a sliding door this side, just for all those crazy orcs hanging out. I need to find out what's beeping over there. It's just doing my head in now. It's still going. So it sounds like something that's like running out of battery or charge. And it's just beeping. So a combination of that and the glue stick in my fingers. Same problem when you're trying to glue so many bits at once. It's a little bit of a pain. Right, let's hold them. I'm not going to move. We'll give that. Because this super glue I've got is super glue, but it's a 15 to 20 second super glue, unless it's your skin, and then it's instantaneous. Right, what is it that could be beeping over there? Right, I'm going to be back in a second, because something's beeping. Not very loud, but there's something beeping and I'm not sure what it is. I'm very confused now because it's not actually over there, it's over here. Or is it my PC? Oh, I know what it might be. It's one of the yeah, I think it's one of the what are they? Portable hard drives. I think that's what it was. And I think it was the actual hard drive as it's spinning round. I think that was what's making the noise. Yeah, it's gone. It was weird. It sounded like it was coming from over there until I stood up, went over there, and it's like, oh no, it's back over here. Anyway, ignore me. Just going mad. There was a beeping noise, and it was driving me nuts. But it wasn't a beep, and it was must have been the hard drive disk whizzing around. Right. Anyway, that's one thing sorted. Now just to sort out the glue sticking, which I think it has. Ah, the first one I did hasn't. Obviously, again, now this would have been made easier if, with all my little bits that I've cut up, if they were obviously all exactly the right height. If I do sandpaper to sand them down, so all edges were like a nice clean cut, that would have made it easier. But I think because this is a framework and you're not going to see any of it, it's not really worth making it look all neat, precise, clean cut edges, because it's going to take you twice as long, never going to be seen. And I'm building it for an orc. I don't care. They like it rough and ready. Chris, maybe it's me beeping, but it might be. You never know. Or it could just be in my head. But no, this was definitely a external beeping, and it's definitely stopped now. But it's so weird because it sounds like it's come from over there. Well, it might be because obviously in this ear I've got my well, I've got some music going, and that's probably why it sounds like it's coming from over there, because obviously it's only this ear. Alright, this isn't my cold. It's only this ear that I could hear it out of. Anyway, I'm old, I'm getting mad. I'll put it down to my age. Still right size? Oh no, it's too big. Was it? Oh, sorry, just hit the camera. forget to say, so the outside will look a lot better than the inside. Well, kinda. So because this is going to be Orks, the sprue panels that I'm making for it, if they're not perfect, then I don't really care. So cause I can obviously make sprue panels really flat and smooth now by putting them through that sort of roller mangler thingy. Obviously it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, but if you want sprue panels that look obviously perfect, then it works wonders. But say, because this is going to be a beaten up and battered looking A-Team van, it doesn't matter if the panels do look, well, beaten and battered up. Right, still these ones here that seem to be not gluing as they should do. If in doubt, just throw loads of glue all over it. What's the worst that can happen? Apart from my fingers being well and truly stuck together. Right. Let's keep a finger there and a finger there. Right, here we go. So again, like I said before, whenever I make things out of sprues, make a framework, and this is always the bit that's sort of kind of like, not exactly the longest bit, but it's always the bit where it doesn't look like much is really happening until it's all done. As in, you look at this and you think, well, what's that going to be? It looks more like a boat than a vehicle. It's just because I always break things down into small little sections and areas in my head, build that little bit up, and just keep building as I go. And it makes the whole project so much easier to sort of work on if you're just sort of thinking about one step at a time. So that's now obviously the bottom half. So now I can just obviously a few angled bits going up, get like a little bit of a bonnet sort of going. So the doors, well, I'm not even really thinking about the doors, to be honest. I'm just going to do a framework, because once the framework's done, if I need to cut bits and rearrange bits, then I can, but at least then I've got a nice sort of box frame to sort of work with. And then yeah, once I'm happy with all the box, I'll then clad it in the sprue panels. But so my plan this morning is purely to get the box done for this, because the sprue panels, I say, I only did them late last night, so whilst they're pretty much dry, they're not really sort of like as dry or as hard as they should be. So I'm going to wait for them to sort of fully cure, I guess that could be the word for it, or the acetone to evaporate, and then I'll put the panels on. So I'll probably do that tomorrow. So I might well do another video live stream tomorrow of me sort of like assembling the panels, and you'll be able to see just how these come out. So again, this mould was made from 2 of these wheels, and then yeah, sprue glue has been squished inside. But that was only done this morning, so this is only like a couple of hours old. And then yeah, so come late this afternoon, I'm going to pull them out. Hopefully they'll have taken shape, because the other problem obviously as well when you do this kind of thing is the outside, like this bit on the top, that will harden because obviously the air is getting to it, so the acetone evaporates, but the bit that's on the inside could still be soft. So I have to be careful when I take these out not to squish them, because there might be a nice indentation. It might look really like this, but it'll be so soft that I could just squish it. So it's a case of taking them out, leaving them on one side, and again then letting them dry for another 7-8 hours to sort of fully harden. But my plan is, say if I can, I'll do another live stream tomorrow. This framework will all be done. I should have 4 wheels by then. All the panels will be nice and dry, and then tomorrow I can just sort of like cover it in the panels and get it ready for painting really. But yeah, so that's going to be tomorrow possibly, but right now it's still a case of let's get the frame done. Right, so I'm going to definitely do obviously an upright where the door starts and go along the back, and then the front can be another sort of a separate kind of section really. Right, so supposedly this is the top of that. So what I'll do is I'm going to get some bits cut up, bits ready, and then I'm going to film another little section. Right, so let's go to about there, I think. Bosh. Looks alright. Yeah, so again, we'll have what, 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Could do one in the middle. Yeah, because I'm going to have the door, I reckon. Yeah, so we'll get 4 of these cut. Yeah, I might have to cut some more long straight bits because I've only got a few left. And yeah, start to look a bit more box van like. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 6 of these. One more. Right. Again, if in doubt, let's chuck some more glue on it, because eventually the glue will dry. Even though, so this is this is a nice cheap glue that I get from Amazon. It's only about £3–4 for a rather large bottle. So the only downside is it does take, I think it says 15–20 seconds on here. Does it say? Oh, normally it does say on it, but they've obviously taken it off. But yeah, 15 to 20 seconds, but it generally takes longer, and sometimes it can just take a minute or so for it to really sort of like adhere and stick to it. I'm going to glue these bits on, and I'm going to film the gluing on of the top bits, I think. So we're about. So the door's kind of about there-ish. Yeah, again, watching glue dry, because I say this glue, it's the only downside to it, but being so cheap is it doesn't always want to play ball straight away. Although, no, yeah, I could use cement glue, because obviously, because this is the Sprues, cement glue will glue it really well, but again, it obviously takes a while for that to dry. But once the good thing is though, once this has all set and all dried, then it will be nice and strong, and yeah, it'll be, because I always like to make things so that they don't sort of warp or buckle. You can pick it up, and it's not going to like just squish in your hands. So once it has all set and dried, then yeah, it'll be golden. Right, let's have a little look. Because as much as I'm kind of make things up as I go along, let's roughly have it in the same place. So we're looking about there. Man, this bit keeps falling off. it will all dry eventually. Oh, we're kind of getting there, but slow. So am I going to make an orc looking like BA? I have got an orc, or an orc head, that's got a cigar out of its mouth, so that can be can't be this game. Who's the leader? The leader's always got like a big old stogie out of his mouth, hasn't he? But yeah, I think I might do good old BA being a bit of a different colour to the other orcs. Maybe he could be blue. Yeah, the other orcs can be green and BA can be blue. Although, he wouldn't be asleep in the back, would he? He's only asleep on the plains. Right, we'll give that a little second or two to hopefully start drying. Let's just have a little bit off the top, and the same with you. Cool. I went somewhere. Man. Oh, I've got no drink. Oh. Yeah, so say if you guys are about tomorrow, I'll probably do another stream. Was it tomorrow? Wednesday? Yeah, I'll probably do another stream tomorrow about the same sort of time. And obviously that'll be one where I'll be putting the sprue panels on the outside of this. Because hopefully by then this would have all dried. The glue would finally be working. Because at the moment, well, I don't know if it's because it's... So guys, does it dry quicker in the heat or cold? Because whilst my flat isn't cold, I do have windows open. I don't have any heating on. So it's not like freezing cold, but it is a little bit nippy. But I kind of like it sort of fresh. Plus I'm tight and I'm not going to put the heating on. Hannibal, yes, that's the fella, isn't it? Hannibal's the dude. Yes, so yeah, BA can be driving. Well, he can be leaning out. And I think I am going to make him a blue orc. And yeah, Hannibal can be the other side with the old cigar hanging out. And then... So I should really have two orcs in the back, shouldn't I? For the crazy one and face. Yes, I think I will have two out the front. Well, who's going to be the... Yeah. Well, I could have, rather than a grot strapped to the front, I could have the crazy dude strapped to the front with a machine gun. I will see. Because I mean, this probably is going to be big enough to actually have a full-size orc strapped to the bonnet. So I might actually do that. Two driving, one leaning out the side door, one strapped to the front with machine gun. Yeah, it could be a plan. Again, it might well change. It's good to have a plan. Murdoch, yeah. It's good to have a plan, but obviously the plans do change. So if you've got to have a plan. So that depends on the glue. Okay, super glue, plastic cement both have alcohol in them, so heat can help. Okay, so that could be why it's taking a little bit longer. So 'cause this stuff, I know this stuff isn't the quickest, except when it's on your skin, but it does seem to be taking a bit longer than normal at the moment. So yeah, it's because it's not cold. I mean, for November, it's kind of mild, I guess. Plus, it's nice that it's not. I mean, it's greyish out there, but the sun is trying. Whereas obviously we get yesterday was just grey all day. Right, so let's fold this so the wheels are off. It's like, 'cause I haven't been measuring this at all, so let's see just how much difference it is from my initial picture. Oh, look at that! It's almost perfect. See, eyeballing works wonders. Yeah, love it when a plan comes together. Yes, I mean that's not bad going, is it? Because by the time it gets the crossbar on the top, it's pretty much going to be spot on. It's like I almost measured it in my head. Yes, love it when a plan comes together. Or in this case, when you just bodge it together and it's sort of a happy accident. So who needs a tape measure when you can just eyeball things? Cool. Right, this one is obviously not. Let's measure that one out. Right, so that's that one, and then we need the one across the top. So the chances are this video, what's the day? Tuesday. Possibly, maybe Thursday. If not, I reckon Friday I'll have this video out. Yeah, so because the other projects I've got on the go are, well, obviously the chess set is a big one. So that, I mean, that one's going to be on the go for a good month or so still, because obviously there's a lot more figures I need to, well, somehow source and then paint. So it's going to be a little while for those. Sticky house. Yeah, the glue drying quicker. I thought it was also because of the moisture in our fingers. I thought it was the moisture as well that helped with the super glue drying. But what's that? Cut twice, don't measure at all. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, measuring tape. What's that? What are you talking about? Right, so that one's going to go there, that one's going to go there, this is going to go at the back. So just so I can film another little bit of me, obviously hands-on gluing bits. Let's go from there, I guess. I think we're in focus. I should really clean my fingernail, but can't bother. Plus it's because of doing this that my fingers generally get dirty. A little dollop would do ya. That'll do, because I need to let things dry before I start to stick. Oh, I keep thinking that whenever I'm filming, I film a bit and I obviously move the camera right out of my face. I kind of forgot you guys were there, so sorry about that. It's quite funny. Again, it's because I'm obviously sitting in the flat on my own, got music in my ear, I'm building something that I'll just be building anyway, and because obviously I can't hear you guys, that's kind of why for that split second I kind of forgot you were there. So apologies. Right, let's have a go. So it's all, again, everything's still wibbly wobbly, but this is where when I start getting obviously cross members at the top, that helps obviously tie it all in, and we'll start giving it some strength. Oh, it's come off in it. That's because I've not let it dry. Again, this is where normally I am a very patient kind of guy. I think sometimes when I'm obviously doing live streams, I want to obviously be able to show you more, but it is a case of you have to wait to let things dry, John. I think what it possibly is as well, I think that middle one is a little bit high, so it's a little bit wibbly wobbly. There we go. It's all sitting much better, much nicer. Don't forget to video. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, the baking soda, I've tried that once and I found the smell of it just too much. But the glues, this glue doesn't really smell much at all. The cement glue, that's got a bit of a stronger smell, but I found with the baking soda, I wasn't getting high, but I was getting a headache. It just smell of it, and obviously the fact that it gets on your fingers, and it, yeah, I tried the baking soda once, hated it, absolutely hated it. So yeah, I'd rather persevere, get my fingers stuck, unstick my fingers, bits fall off, re-glue them, than use baking soda. Andre, yeah, you're just a distraction. Well, obviously not even a distraction because I forgot about you, so you weren't distracting me at all. But it is though, honestly, unless you have live streams, it's so weird because you're sitting there chatting away to yourself like a madman, and yeah, it is weird to. Well, I don't even think that there's people watching me. All I see is text. So it's almost like I'm texting someone or I'm responding to a text. So it's like, yeah, I don't even sort of think, oh, there's people actually watching what I'm doing. Well, you probably got me on in the background anyway. You're probably doing something else, something probably more interested in watching glue dry, and I'm just there as, well, background noise, I guess. Andre, he ignores who? What? What kind of baking soda do they have over there? I don't know. Baking soda. I don't know what types of baking soda there are. We just have one that says baking soda written on the outside. Mike Hawkins, good morning from the US. Good morning from the UK. You grew up in the 18, yeah, me too. So I'm 54, so I was born in 68. So yeah, as a childhood, the 70s and then the 80s were obviously my time. And yeah, the A-Team is something I loved. So yeah, when someone mentioned about making it, it was like, yes, I need to make that. Again, so guys, that's why I always sort of say, let me know in the comments if there's something you want to see me make. I won't obviously make everything that everyone says, but certain things someone says, it's like, oh yeah, I like the idea of that. Because the one, not a problem I have, but sometimes I do run out of things to make, or I can't think of something to make, or I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, so when you guys mention something, it sort of stirs up like a keenness, an eagerness, and an excitement to make it. So there's a lot of things that I make, like the chess set. I've been wanting to make a chess set for ages, but always put off by doing it because I didn't like painted miniatures. But now I like painted miniatures, so that's why I'm making a chess set. So there are some things that I have got in mind that I want to make, but then sometimes I haven't. And yeah, say the A-Team van, or an Ork A-Team, I just love the idea of. Again, anything that's like Mad Max, I love Mad Max style stuff as well. And again, I think that's again why I love Orks so much, because they are very much Mad Max looking people. Yeah, because the heads that I'm going to use I'm probably going to use the Spellcrow heads, just because again they got obviously the old spiky hair and they look very Mad Maxy, and I'm sure it's one of these that's got like the old cigar in its mouth. Oh no, it's not. It's this one, Cromlech, like the old general kind of dude. He's got a cigar. Actually, these ones look better, I think, actually. Thinking about it. Because they were in the army, weren't they? Well, disgraced soldiers from the army. Yeah, so I reckon, obviously that's going to be, I forgot his name already. So this is where my memory, so when I say it's pants, it's shockingly bad. He's the leader. Maybe, yeah, he'll be the leader. Obviously, spiky haired has got to be, obviously, BA, because obviously, spiky hair. And that would work out well. So there's one, yeah, so there's 4. Yeah, there we go, sorted. There's the 3, and so I reckon the dude with the funny glasses, that'll be old, is it Murdoch, the crazy one who flies planes? This one can be Face, even though he doesn't obviously look the good lookingest. That's going to be Face, and obviously one of these will be BA. Yeah, cool. Oh, okay, it fits perfectly. So they are going to be my people. Yeah, I can't wait to get them done now and get them painted. So I think I might have one strapped to the front. So I reckon it'll be Face hanging out, BA driving, the boss dude, forgot his name again, on the other side, and then the crazy pilot dude, I think I might have him strapped to the bonnet. And yeah, that looked good. Steve, what's the first sign of madness? Next sign is making sprue. Third is making stuff out of the stuff. I might have to just throw the Ork Stomper out the window, film it, see how well he bounces. Because obviously it's brought as seen, and that's how it'll be seen. But yeah. Licking causes hair and memory loss. Licking what, or shouldn't I ask? Right, anyway, back to the van. See, I've done a bit wrong. The back of the van meant to have a bit of a slope. No one said anything, guys. What's going on? Give you one job to remind me, back of the van, slopey. So, easily rectified. How much are we sloping by? We are sloping by about, give or take, we'll do that. And we'll do that. I guess this is one good thing about this glue taking forever. I can chop bits off and change it. So all we've got to do is take that off, that off. Are these going to be out of reach? Give or take. No, in fact, it looks perfect. Let's just, again, nothing to see here, just snipping bits off to make them fit. And there we go, just like that. It's now got a slopey back. I can't believe you guys didn't tell me I'd done that bit wrong though. Licking paint. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was licking. Could be anything really. Right. And again, this is where my fingers are now feeling caked in glue, and obviously the old senses and touching starts to go away, and I don't like that. I like to be able to feel things I'm touching. I'm sure you know what I mean. Right, let's stick this dude in the back and watch glue dry for 2 minutes. if you paint your tongue red, you can lick up red paint faster and create infinite licking power. Okay. I think someone out there is sniffing too much glue. I say I'm mad. Right. That's cool. What a good save there about the old back. So that's that bit done. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a bonnety bit. Yeah. Well, I suppose these bits I did could have really have come across the top of the door. Yeah, I'll just glue something onto it. It'll be fine. Right, so to be honest, I'm probably not far off getting to a stage where I'm going to finish, because, say, I want to let this fully dry before I peel it off the greaseproof paper. And if I do it too soon, I'll pick it up, it'll just crumble, and then you'll see me cry. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this little bit at the front here, and then I am going to leave it to fully harden, dry, cure, whatever you want to call it, and then yeah, I won't do any more to it probably until tomorrow. Yeah, because the panels aren't ready to go on it yet, and I'd rather this was fully hardened. Yeah, so any questions, guys? Because I'm probably going to finish in about 5-10 minutes. What is the time? 11:26. Well, that's good. So I've been shooting about 2 hours. That's gone really quick if I have. I can't see how long it takes. 101 minutes. Oh no, it's only an hour and a half. Oh no, it's because I started before 10, didn't I? Is it 9:45? It's about an hour and 45. Still gone really quick though, I must admit. It's gone crazy quick. Is Sprue glue going into the gaps or plastic? Yeah, no, this is going to be covered in Sprue panels. Yeah, I make Sprue panels. I can make Sprue panels a lot smoother, a lot neater, a lot nicer. It takes longer to do it, and as this is an Ork vehicle, having a panel that looks like it's got indentations and just cream crackered looking will work really well for this. So that's why I'm not bothered that this is a little bit well, it's not as smooth as I could make it. So yeah, no, it's going to have these panels on, but these panels are still quite soft. So these were rolled out last night, but yeah, these won't be really sort of fully hardened until later on this evening or tomorrow. But yeah, so the whole carcass or framework is going to be covered in Sprue panels. So say this is going to be a total 100% Sprue build, apart from the figures and paint. So even the wheels, obviously this is one of the original ones. I made a mould and I've got some Sprue goo in there, but again that takes 7 hours. So that's, again, there's the only problem about making things with Sprues. I mean, I would make a lot more with Sprues, but it takes so long to make bits and then wait for them. So like the Sprue goo, it takes a good 7-8 hours for all the Sprues to dissolve into Sprue goo, and then it takes another good at least 7-8 hours, generally 24 is a good time, for the Sprue goo to go back into being a hard plastic. But making something small like this is obviously fun because it doesn't take too long. Although what I should probably do is just go and make loads of Sprue panels, have them ready, put them in a box that I can like squish, because the only problem as well with the Sprue panels, as much as I say, after about 2 days they are fully like flat hardened, but then when you leave them for say a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they start curling up at the edges. But they won't if obviously they're attached to a framework, which is why I like making frameworks. So yes, it is difficult to make loads of Sprue panels and kind of like have them just sort of sitting ready. But anyway, I'm waffling. Any questions, guys, you want to ask me, by all means ask now. Put @mentionhobbyist in the comment just so it highlights it, so I know you're asking me a comment. But otherwise, yeah, I'm going to do this last little bit at the front, and then yeah, I am going to finish. Let's have another little looky just how it's, yeah, not too shabby. So by the time you get the layer of the Sprue panel on top, That will be good. So yes, I probably could have done this top bit over a little bit more, but we'll just add a bit on, and the bonnet's going to go to about that bit. Right, so it's only got a little bit of a slope on it, isn't it, really? Yeah. I was like make some silicone molds and make panels in them on mash. You can then put a flat weight on top. I have made panels before, like a mold. Yeah, again though, the problem is they still start to curl up. If you look at one of my videos, I made, what was it called? Modular terrain. I can't remember what my own video was called. It was some time ago though. Modular terrain. Oh, Necromander modular terrain. Made with all sorts of stuff. Made some panels, but even then, the panels, again for the first week or so, nice and flat. But then after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they started curling up. Not by a whole lot, but enough that they weren't flat. And obviously these were on the, like meant to be on the floor, as in like on the table. So the fact they did start curling up at the edges made it difficult, because obviously they're in like panels that you like put together. So originally when you put them together, they were nice and flush, met up, nice and flat on top. But then after about 2-3 weeks, because they curled up, they didn't meet as well as they should do. God, my fingernails are disgusting. And yeah, so that's why whenever you use the sprue panels, you really want to glue them onto something, because they're just pants on their own. Even though they look really, really flat, perfect, and then 2-3 weeks later, not so much. No, yeah, the flat top on them, I've done that as well. I've made panels. Obviously, I've got D&D books. I've got tons of D&D books, nice and heavy. I put them on top of a sprue panel. Like once it's cured and dried. So I've got the greaseproof paper, sprue panel, another bit of greaseproof paper, books on top. Left them on top for about a week. Took the books off, panel perfectly flat, gorgeous, lovely. After about a week or two, started curling up. Yeah, so panels on their own are pants. They really are, which is a shame, because obviously it'd be nice to make modular panels that you could just, well, use to sort of do floors with and stuff. But no, yeah, it's just pants. Can you cut the edges off? Middle stays flat. Not really, because I haven't got one to show you. But it would be like this. Oh. So imagine this panel was sort of square or whatever. It's not just like the edge curling up a little bit. It's almost like the center bit will stay flat, but everything all around will start curling up. So it's not even like you could cut edges off, because say this was the size of the panel, you'd be left with a small little square in the middle. But even then, if you cut the small little square out, that might end up curling. I don't know. But say this was the size of the panel, imagine it's squarer. Yeah, it kind of like curls up all over. So it's not just the very edge. It's, again, it's because it's obviously acetone is obviously still in there, even though after like a week or so, when these are as flat and they feel dry and just like plastic, there's obviously still some acetone, obviously a small amount, still within it, that still wants to escape in the air, and that's why they just sort of like they contract on themselves, and that's what obviously causes them to curl up, I guess. Andre, yeah, cheers for being here, guys. And yeah, who said that again? Who, I don't know, what's your name? Yeah, I'm going to glue these few little bits on, and then I will be out of here. So let's see, I want to get the front bit, a height bit, and oh, I'm running out of bits. Saying that, here's one in Blue Peter fashion. Well, obviously didn't make it earlier, but here's another. So again, whenever I get these sprues, I always cut all around the edges, because obviously that's where the lovely long lengths are. And then yeah, just a case of cutting off nibbly nobbly bits. So these all go into my nibbly nobbly drawer box. Make up as I go along now. Yeah, so all these little bits that get cut off, these will all end up back in the jar. But obviously I'm keeping the jar now because I want to, once these are cured and I pull these out, I can then put that sprue goo in there. And then tonight, any of these little bits that are left over, I'll put them in the jar and then they'll be nice and sprue goo for tomorrow. It wasn't really going up by a whole lot, was it? No, about 10 mil-ish. So we'll have 2 of those. Yeah, that'll do. Right. Let's do a bit more watching glue dry. Again, I probably could make things easier for myself by cutting these sprues at sort of angles, but where's the fun in making things easy for yourself? This is obviously the problem with the smaller the bits, the more chance I'm going to get glue on my hands. Yeah, that's oh, look, it's almost exactly the right angle. It's amazing. Splodge some glue all over that. When you get glue on it, you drop it and then it's just glue everywhere. Yeah, so I need to go and clean my hands because I hate having fingers that are just caked in glue. And my earbud's falling at me here. Now I have got tweezers and I'm thinking about getting the tweezers just because this little sucker keeps sticking to my hand. Done. What's that? Acetone, it will also dissolve in plastic cement for making sprue glue, different from sprue glue. Yeah, right guys, I'm going to finish it there. I've just got the one little bit that needs to be glued across the front, and then that's kind of how I want to leave it for the moment. Wait till this is fully dried, and then I'll probably put a few more sort of supports just in the top. Again, just so when you pick it up, I mean, once it's got all the sprue panels on it anyway, it's going to be stronger, but I like to make sure that the framework is strong, so I'm going to have some panels going across the top, or some sort of beams, cross members going across it, and yeah. But yeah, for the moment I'm going to leave that because I want to clean my fingers, I want to get some drink, and yeah, so this is almost done anyway. Well, thanks for being there guys, cheers for keeping me company, even though I do sometimes forget you are there. Apologies. Yeah guys, have a good day, evening, morning, night, whatever it is where you guys are, And yeah, so I'm probably going to do another stream tomorrow, probably sort of similar time, around sort of 9-10ish. I'll start it. It might only be a stream for a couple of hours because it won't take, or even an hour. It won't take too long putting the panels on. But what I might do is put the panels on and kit bash the figures just so they're ready. So basically the whole thing will then be ready for me to paint. Hopefully tomorrow evening. What's tomorrow? Wednesday. Yeah, possibly tomorrow evening or maybe Thursday I might paint it. Might do the painting on a live stream, not sure. But yeah, definitely tomorrow there'll be another live stream of me just putting the panels on. Okay, right, I'm going to try and click some buttons to make it look professional that I can just sort of get away. So yeah guys, enjoy the rest of the day and yeah, take care. See you in the next one. Bye for now.